Welcome back to another week of Hello Ladies, where feminism meets pro wrestling. I'm one of your hosts, Sabrina Hannon.
I am Megan Manley, and yeah, you got it right this week.
I know, I'm very proud of myself. Uh it's always good when you can say your own podcast name correctly.
I mean, to be fair, we did change it after like 7 months into it, so
What do you mean? That never
understandable.
happened. We were always like this.
Oh, yes, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's vacation.
Yes, yes. We are back with a regularly scheduled episode this week. Well, kind of. We're filming it on Thursday, and I'm going to get this out in theory this evening. At least the audio portion will be out. The video might be tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, Megan is back from vacation and ready to.
Dan.
Oh, and you'll notice that it's from the sun, so it is not horribly applied and looks like she punched whatever brown shit some of the wrestlers smear on their bodies. MJF, I am looking at you.
I this is the first year that we went down that I didn't burn because I don't remember if I talked about it on the podcast, but do you remember how like horribly burned I got for the 4th of July?
Mm-hmm.
I got my very bad burn out of the way at the beginning of the month that like peeled and already had a mild tan. So I didn't really burn, which means I got to enjoy the entire time without vomiting from sun poisoning or being uncomfortable. Or, oh, yeah, that happened to me with the 1 year. I was like 16 and I fell asleep on the
Teenagers.
beach and I fell asleep under the umbrella, but the sun moves and nobody thought to wake me, and the whole backs of my legs were like blistered. They were
Oh,
bad, and I had the chills. I remember eating dinner that night and running to the bathroom, and it was just all came up, and it was like not great. It was pretty bad sun poisoning, but I was a trooper and kept going out the rest of the week, but just like huddled under the umbrella.
my God. Yeah. Um, I've started to notice that like parasols have become more popular. I've definitely seen people walking around Scranton with them, which I am all about because for those of you just listening and who do not know me, I am ghost white, I think would be an appropriate way. I'm right now I'm considered tan for myself. I get to use my summer foundation, which instead of being like ghost white is ivory white. So
You go from porcelain to ivory, I'm assuming.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens. Mm-hmm. So tan. So tan.
My my foundation like matches for some, like I don't know how it does it, but it still like matches the color of your skin. Like no matter, it's like a weird like I am tan, but it doesn't look like too pale on my face. It still matches when I put it on, so I like it. So I don't have to buy like summer and winter foundations with it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, in the 2 weeks, I think it's been since we've talked like wrestling, right? Wrestling.
Uh, yeah, because we obviously didn't record last week because I
But we
was
did
living.
this smash or pass.
Yeah, we did
Recorded.
both of those before.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked like actual wrestling 2 weeks ago,
Yeah. Um,
and then whatever drunken messages that I sent on last Monday during Raw, like that
yes.
I don't even remember that show.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, basically I am thrilled because, as I predicted with Triple H and Stephanie gaining power, all of my dreams are coming true. Shayna Baszler is in the title match. I don't think she's winning, and I don't fucking care because she's being used appropriately. Yeah, I'm so happy, and Dakota Kai's back. Ah, so good. And EO Sky now is, which out of all the name changes they've ever done, that one at least makes sense. Like,
Yeah, that one doesn't really bother me like some of the other ones did, like Madcap Moss. Um,
who was he before?
oh, I just had it and then it just left. I was just about to say it and it went out of my brain. Um, oh my God.
Clearly, it's a name she was very attached to.
it just took blank. But I mean, like Pete Dunne to Butch,
Yeah.
like, that crap. At least like Shirai and Sky sound similar. Like
Yeah. And yeah, yes. And she also does a lot of
flying stuff.
flying stuff. Yeah, the high flying moves. So I was so and Bailey's back. I was so happy when I saw
Riddick.
her.
Sorry.
Oh, Riddick Moss, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry. If I didn't say it, it was gonna go away again.
That's why I sit here with a pen and paper. So I
You
can
just
like
said
if you ever see me like viciously scribbling. Um the fun thing, I don't know anybody else who ever does that where you like make notes for yourself later. Sometimes I don't understand my own notes. Not that I can't read them. I can. I don't know what past me was trying to tell future me. It's just like bubblegum cats. I don't know what the fuck this means. So yes. Things are just going so well with the women's division with that.
that's not surprising
No,
because
not at all.
Triple H definitely made like NXT, especially around like 2014, 2015 NXT women's roster. They were main eventing like takeovers. They were the biggest draws, it seemed
Mm-hmm.
like, for a lot of the takeovers. Like they had by far the best women's division in North America. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that he is very adamant on making now the main roster women's division the best in North America again.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I
all
think
of
he's
his
gonna go
next,
for best in the world, honestly.
I don't know if he'll beat Japan.
Don't know, but I think that's what he's going. There's no way Triple H is insane. They're going like we will have the best women's division in the world. He just sends poison to the women's division in Japan.
I mean, I'm sure that he will like say that and claim it, but Japanese wrestling is just on a different level entirely. Like I don't think any American wrestling touches Japan, like men or women's. They're on a different level over there. I don't know how they train differently or whatever, but I mean, of course they'll say that they have the best women's division in the world, but I don't think like realistically they'll touch Japan. But I'm excited to see all of his NXT babies up on the main roster now be the stars of the show again because they definitely were in NXT.
Yeah, and so something that Cultaholic had said, I think it was, I don't know, it was either Ross, Tom, or Adam. So it was someone on half of the staff that said, imagine if like Champa becomes champion, and then in like a WrestleMania or like in like two WrestleManias, perhaps the one in Philly, you have Champa versus Gargano for the championship. And I was just like, oh, that storytelling would be amazing. And I guarantee if they do it, it'll be the year after Philly because that's my luck.
Same. I mean, realistically, that can happen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I saw a post where somebody was listing off all the members of the Way, and all that's left that isn't up there right now are just Candace and Johnny.
Yeah.
Um, I 100% was convinced that he was going to go to AEW like 3 months ago. I don't think so now. Not with Triple H in charge. I think that if Vince was still in charge, that he was going to AEW. He even
Or
kind of hinted
or
that.
anywhere else.
He kind of hinted it on a stream, like,
Mhm.
and on Twitter when everybody in the crowd was chanting for him the one night when everybody thought he was going to be the one coming out. And he's like, I see you and I hear you and I'll see you soon or something like that.
Mhm.
And when AEW accidentally tweeted out Johnny Gargano instead of Johnny, enter name of promotion he's in. Um,
Mhm.
but now, yeah, he's gonna go to WWE. I mean, so many of them are Triple H guys that
Yeah.
he's definitely. I don't see any other promotion now for him.
Well, especially since like I would be far more shocked if because I assume Candice LeRae is going to continue to wrestle. Um I can't imagine her going anywhere else. Like that would just be a stupid decision on her part because with right now would be a great time to enter the main roster's women's division because I mean it was already you already have like all these amazing players in place, right? Like phenomenal wrestlers. And now with creative that is clearly going to be behind the division, we are going to see some top-notch matches that you're not going to see anywhere else in the US. Like you're just not. Um
I'm hoping for like another Iron Man match. Like I would love to see another one. I,
mhm,
I like honest to God, my favorite I think my favorite women's match of all time, any era, any promotion, is that Bailey and Sasha match from NXT. I mean, Sasha made the little Bailey fan cry. Like it was
mhm,
just such great storytelling, great heel work, great baby face work, great wrestling. The end of it with like coming out with the flowers and like Bailey winning and then Sasha going up to the main rock. Like that was just one of the most perfect matches I've ever seen. And I'd love to see something like that again on the main roster. But then at the same time, I don't know if you can exactly catch lightning in a bottle twice. Like
well,
it
you
would probably
you can, but with different wrestlers.
I'm sure that other wrestlers can have a great match too, but I don't know if you can ever get that moment back or like have it feel that special again. It just it was so different from like any other women's wrestling that was happening.
Mhm.
I think that's another part of it too. Like now we've seen it, like we've seen the cage matches and the Hell in the Cells and you know, finally having all the same matches that the men have. That I'm sure that there would be another great one, but it will never be beat that one for me. That will always be up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Um but I've also been excited to see who else has started to come back. I know you're not a big fan of Dexter Loomis because of how they've written him. I love his character and like because of how much he creeps me out with how he moves in the ring. Like what how he contorts his face. It's not even contorting it. Like I don't know what to the serial killer look he gets on his face and how he moves his body, like that crawl on his knuckles, freaks me the fuck out, and I love it.
I just wasn't a fan of, oh, okay, I'm gonna fall in love with my stalker and marry them.
Yeah.
That so it's not that I wasn't a fan of him. I just didn't like the message that that storyline sent out
Yeah.
to like any younger girls that
Stalkers.
yeah, like oh, if they keep pursuing you enough and follow you around everywhere, then just give them a chance and you'll fall in love. Like, I didn't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I would like to
Yeah.
not see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And thankfully, I don't think we will necessarily see that since it's been done in NXT on the main roster. Um, but yeah, I'm glad to see Dexter Loomis back. I'm interested to see like because you knew something was going on because when they were doing that weird little interview in the back with like Alexa and Asuka, and then they don't have a name for the trio yet of Bailey, Io, and Dakota, but with that whole thing, you could see like a car's like being towed or something. And it's just like, are they gonna mention what the hell that is? Like, what is going on? And then they let just enough time elapse before we see like Dexter Loomis in the crowd trying to get over, where you kind of forgot about that. And just excellent how they did that. Thank you,
There was
Triple
like
H.
there was like three different things that happened, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like there was the because you saw Nikki and Dewdrop like in the background around the car, like what happened. Then there
Hmm.
was like another thing with the cops running by,
Yeah.
and then like him in the crowd, which I didn't have my glasses on, and Brian's like freaking out, going, "Oh my god, oh my god!" And I'm going, "What? What?" I thought it was like an old man that was getting like taken away in the crowd. I could not see. He's like, then I hear Dexter Loomis. I was like, oh, and I put my glasses on. I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Such an old lady.
Old man Dexter Loomis.
But something funny that I saw online after that, which I don't know, have you ever seen Community, the show
No.
Community? No, we've talked about this. For those of you who have, I saw a thing saying that Hunter must have seen the episode where Abed delivers a baby. There's an episode of Community where the one character, Abed, is not in it. Like you don't see him. But in all these scenes throughout the whole episode, he's in the background. And it's like he comes across like a pregnant couple, and then something else happens with them. And then in another scene, like she's going into labor, and another one, he's helping deliver it. And at the end, he's in the background. She's like, they're holding the baby. Like the whole story is told in the background, the entire episode. And when I saw that comment, like, oh, Triple H must have saw the Abed delivered a baby episode of Community, I lost it because I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what it was like.
I will take your word for that.
You should watch that show. I think you'd like it.
I started watching the first episode and then I don't know, got distracted.
It's really good. It's very funny.
Um, but with the changes have also come the women's tag team title bracket thing to crown the new champs. Now, I personally don't think this means that Naomi and Sasha aren't necessarily coming back, because he could simply be doing it. Well, one, they might not have agreed to come back, or to come back as a tag team, but it might be once a new team is crowned, we hear, Boss Glow come out and be like, those aren't yours.
That's
So
100% I think is happening. That
yeah.
100% that they're gonna be like, we never lost them.
Yeah. And the thing is, so obviously there weren't like a bunch of tag teams hanging around the women's division, but the for the most part, the people that they've put together make sense. And like I like that they're bringing up Stark and the other person, Lyons from NXT, to compete for the titles as well. But there are some matchups that I'm actually really looking forward to, and they're probably also going to get the time that they deserve to have these matches. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but like match length has significantly improved.
Oh yeah. We I I do remember seeing a little bit of SmackDown because like I was saying before we started recording, um we were home from the beach, but we had a wedding to go to the next day. So I was like getting stuff ready and everything. And I didn't really catch all of it, but like I kind of try to see it out of the corner of my eye. And one thing that Brian and I were talking about was how, like, what was it, like 4 weeks ago, that the total amount of wrestling time on SmackDown was
It's
12
12
minutes.
minutes.
And the one of the matches that we were watching was like already at 15 minutes, and it was like only one of the matches that night. And
Mhm.
like that's, you could definitely tell that he's back because like one match is lasting longer than the entirety of the amount of wrestling on a show a few weeks ago. Like
Mhm.
even on Raw, I've noticed that like all these matches are getting time, and it's far less bullshit and replays and last weeks and stupid segments that you didn't need. Like they're telling stories through wrestling, which is what wrestling is supposed to be about.
Mhm.
And they can say that again. That's off
Yep.
of, they're allowed to say wrestling, wrestler. I think title shot is another thing they can say again.
Yeah. I think
Like all these,
they're still trying to stay away from the word hospital, but that's because they just don't want wrestling fans showing up at the hospitals.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
They can say kill again, like
Mhm.
all this shit that was like, oh God, Vince must be having a stroke while like watching what's going on.
I think Vince has enough problems to worry about.
He does, but you know how vain he is. Like he's probably still like, what the hell are they doing to my product? Urgh. Like making it
Mm,
better, Vince. Go take your meds and lay down. Like,
yeah. Either that or maybe he's just been asleep because he's trying to catch up on 40 years of sleep.
uh,
But yeah, so I guess also and I had heard this before but kind of completely forgot about it. Not kind of, I completely forgot about it. That people had said that Vince was having like memory issues. That's one of the reasons why we were seeing things repeated all the time, because he wouldn't remember that a few weeks ago they had this match or that they did this angle. So kept repeating it again. I don't necessarily even think that it was entirely his age. I think it was he was not sleeping combined with his age.
Yeah. So that explains why we saw the same matches for about 9 months straight. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
every
Yeah.
week, the same matches. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, I can't. I'm just so glad that that era is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. It finally has happened. People have been hoping for it for a long time that he'd either retire or be carried out of there. And I think
Yeah.
it was a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, you know.
Yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say? I like that they are referencing what has happened. Like Roman Reigns saying to Austin Theory, "Your daddy ain't here anymore," and the crowd chanting, was it "Where's your daddy" or "Who's your daddy"?
It had to be Who's Your Daddy
Daddy.
because that's his new shirt.
Sure, yeah. Which that's the other thing. There's a shirt with Roman Reigns on it that says "Who's your daddy." I
Yeah, they
can't.
knew what they were doing there, didn't they?
I can't wait until I'm out in the wild and I see like a big burly man wearing a Roman Reigns "Who's your daddy" shirt.
I'm sure it's existing right
I
now.
know.
Like
Yeah, and I want to see it with my eyes.
they may even be watching or listening to this podcast right now. And if you are, send it to our Instagram. We want to see.
Yes, yes, make my dreams come true, sir. I have to start coming up with new dreams because Triple H is fulfilling them all.
Oh, I have a new dream and I'm trying to manifest it for Friday. So,
Yes. Yes. Which I just have two other WWE things to say real quick. So Queen Zelina is out injured. She just had surgery. I know this because I follow her on the Tiki Talkies, which I highly recommend because you often see her cats in them, and I'm here for cat content. One of her cats is named Pickles, which I love. I think I love when animals are named after condiments, even though none of mine are. Yeah, no, none of mine are. None.
yeah, me either. Mine are named after Harry Potter characters.
Yeah, mine have people names except for the last two, which do have food names, cranberry and cheddar, but has not a condiment. Nope. And then the other was Rhea Ripley being the troll queen that she is.
Oh God.
So everything that's been going on with the Judgment Day going after Dominic and Ray, specifically Rhea Ripley's interactions with Dominic, where she put him in the the hold with her legs and the internet lost their minds. Oh my god. She has made that her profile picture on Twitter.
No,
Uh yes, she has.
to see this.
And also WWE sent it out too, saying something about like Dominic is living everyone's dreams right now or something,
Oh God.
because that's what fans were like tweeting at Rhea Ripley. And so she was just like, yeah, you want to be Dominic Mysterio.
Oh God,
Oh,
that is her picture. Ah!
yep. Yep, it really is.
Oh
I
my God,
just
the face on her is terrifying.
Yeah, a lot of people don't find it terrifying.
She doesn't look like she has pupils.
No, no.
I mean, I'm not here to kink shame. I'm just here to kink ask why.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, but yeah, Rhea Ripley being the troll queen that we all love. I'm always here for it.
Bless her.
Always. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think having mass amounts of people tweeting like really weird shit at you all the time, especially sexual stuff, could be a lot. And she has embraced it in a way. And honestly, it's female fans for the most part that are going hard at her.
I've seen that. I'm like, whoa, calm down, ma'am. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's just like, this is still sexual harassment, just so you know.
right. Yeah,
Lord.
I've seen a lot of the like step on me and choke me comments that yeah, I like you can just tell her you think she's pretty. Like that's okay.
Right?
Like
Like, Jesus. I
again,
can't even I can't even imagine like what she must have thought when she first started getting, because it wasn't just one or two, like it was just an onslaught. Just like, welcome to the main roster.
right? Hope you're happy. Like
All of the kinks are coming to you.
again, not here to kink shame, just here to kink ask why.
Yeah. I mean, I fully understand why someone would find Rhea Ripley attractive. Completely get that. I don't quite understand when people want to be spit on,
Yeah.
that especially in a COVID world, monkeypox, like come on now, no spitting. Ugh.
Yeah, it's the, step on, spit on, like choke, like that. I don't understand why. I don't get why women say that stuff to other women. I like because it's not even just Rhea Ripley. Like
Yeah.
you see that on a lot of women's posts that, like, if they post like a thirst trap picture or something, most of the comments are other women that are saying like disgusting things, and I'm like, when did this start? Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Whatever happened to like, oh, you look really pretty, or like you look gorgeous, not like please step on me and end my life. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. We've gone off the rails somewhere.
goddamn
Uh
zoomers. Like,
huh?
like goddamn zoomers. Get off my lawn.
Yes, yes. Um, but now that we've talked about everyone's kink for Rhea Ripley, we will transition into talking about Megan's kink for Kenny Omega.
Thanks.
Welcome.
I
I'm
just
here for
I
transitions.
I need him back so badly. Like we're seeing the like the Adam Cole's back and O'Reilly and Fish and Punk and Brian and like everyone who's been injured. Penelope Ford's back. Kip Sabian's coming back.
Hmm.
Like, where's my Kenny? I just want my Kenny back. I think it's gonna be Friday. It has to be Friday because the Bucks have to have a partner by Wednesday. Like, they're not just gonna have him come out before the match. Like, they have to hype up the match, and they have to give more than 400,000 people a reason to watch Rampage because they don't ever get more than 400,000 people.
Yeah, yeah.
We It's such a bad time slot. That's what it is. Like, it's not
It's
like it's a
late
bad show. It's 10 o'clock on a Friday night.
and it's an hour long. Like that's the other thing. Like as weird as it's, we all hate that Raw is 3 hours long, although I will admit I'm not minding it as much right now. But um Rampage goes the other way in that it's only an hour. And I don't know why. That's harder for my brain to get invested sometimes.
Really,
It's probably because it's Friday, honestly. That's probably why.
I don't mind it because like it reminds me of wrestling when I was a kid, like watching on Saturdays, and like it was only an hour. It
See,
wasn't.
I didn't do that, so
Yeah, you weren't watching. Were you alive in '89? No. Like
I I was alive in 89. I was one and a half.
oh, okay. I didn't know why I thought you were 90. Um, okay, so yeah, even at 1.5, you weren't like yeah, it wasn't that. I think was it not until like Raw started that was like 2 hours because I think all the shows before that were just like an hour long.
Mm,
So it's something I remember from when I was little. It's not that like is the reason why I think it's failing. I think it's strictly because if their target demo is supposed to be like 18 to 49, most people that are between that age are not home watching TV on a Friday night at 10 o'clock.
correct.
You might I don't I used to go out at 10. Like that would be when I would be leaving. I'd be 9:30, 10 o'clock, ready to go and be out until like 4 in the morning. Like go to
Hmm.
the bar, leave at 2, go to Denny's, get home for 4. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they need a different day. and a different time. I know that like he doesn't want to compete. He doesn't want to compete with like Raw on Mondays or NXT on Tuesdays. Obviously, it's not going to be on Wednesday because that's when Dynamite's on.
Yeah.
And probably not Thursdays because of Thursday night football, like in the fall, because you know his family owns an NFL team. I like I don't know what other night would be. I mean, even if you change it to maybe like 7, if you want to do like
Yeah.
7 to 8, if you don't want to run alongside of SmackDown, instead of having SmackDown be your lead in, just be the lead into SmackDown. Like for people that are watching wrestling on Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
it, if they were regularly on at 7 o'clock, they'd probably get more people watching than 10 because they don't ever crack. Like I don't think since like Punk debuted on that show, I don't think they've cracked over like 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot. Like at least like Dynamite doesn't get as many people as obviously Raw or SmackDown because they don't have the luxury of being on air for over like 25, 30 years. Um, but they still like hover around a million, like
Mm-hmm.
anywhere between like 800,000 to like a little over a million. They're usually number one on cable on what like overall on Wednesdays. Like Dynamite's doing fine, so it's not the product that's the
No.
problem. It's the time. And I think another thing that hurts them is Dynamite's matches are too predictable. You know
Mm-hmm.
exactly who's going to win every single match when you hear what every match is. Like, it's always like, I don't know, like, oh, John Moxley and Dante Martin. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, you know that Mox is winning that one. Or like Jericho versus, I don't even know, like someone that, like Luchasaurus, like, you don't think Luchasaurus is going to go over Jericho. It just, it's always too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
They or like, yeah, Jade's gonna have her 34th match against this hometown jobber person that you've never heard of before. Like, she's gonna win. They need to make the matches more competitive and change the time slot, and I think it would help them a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And um they were well, not they, we were just talking about how they need to do something fresh with Jade. And I'm not even necessarily talking about like that she needs to lose the title, although that time is coming. I personally want that person to be Athena who takes it off of her. But that being said, she's just she's getting stale, which is a complete shame because she's an amazing talent. I just it's the same thing every time.
Yeah,
Like,
it was fun in the beginning, like,
mhm.
but now we're over a year and it's the same thing every time. It's, Tony cut the shit and blah blah blah. I'm gonna win because I Jada's money comes out. It's basically a squash. She's had maybe like what was last night? Her 36th win. I'd say maybe like 34 of those. No, maybe like 32 of those have been complete squashes, and
Mhm.
like the other four have been like somewhat competitive. Is she? It's time to drop the title. First of all, like that. Yeah, that's time for her to lose it. And Athena, I think, is and should be the person, especially now that Statlander's hurt.
Yeah.
Athena should be the one. It looks like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they need to just do something different, like maybe lose the baddies and do something on her own. Like, try to just change something up. I don't know. Something has to change a little bit because it's the same every week.
Yeah. And I think they're going in that direction of changing things up considering what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he's been walking around giving his card out to a bunch of different
Uh,
people now. Um so I think they're probably going that way. And unfortunately Chris Statlander is going to be out for a while. It's the knee that she injured isn't the one she injured before, it's the other one. Because she had said, she had put out a post where she said, "I'm so sorry to disappoint everyone." And I always hate that. I'm just like, no, you didn't disappoint anyone. But she's got the one knee done. Now she has to get the other one done. Oh,
That sucks because what I think that they were gonna go for was Athena winning the TBS title and Statlander eventually winning, like beating Thunder Rosa. Because they kind of had a backstage segment. I think didn't they, where Athena said something about her like having the
hmm
TBS belt and said to Stat, like, you should go after the AEW championship.
yep,
And I think they were gonna do that, and now that's probably gonna be put on hold.
yeah, yeah. Um, which is a shame. And also, like, I want to see more stuff with Thunder Rosa. I, uh,
Besides that overly fake smile she had, oh my God, that killed me. I was
mhm,
like, she doesn't look happy to be there.
yeah. Um, I did see. So, I've also been following Sammy Guevara and now Ty Conti Guevara. I don't know how they're going to like enter the Guevaros. They have TikToks as well, which I've been following because it came up on my For You page. And wouldn't you know it, yes, that is content that I would like to consume. But for Sammy's birthday, I think it was for his birthday, um, Ty and Thunder Rosa and somebody else who I didn't recognize took and threw him like a party in one of the hotel rooms of just like four of them. And he was just, it was before the wedding, obviously. Yeah, it was definitely his birthday. And he was just like so emotional. He was like, "Thank you so much." And oh, just what a darling of a human being he seems. Um, as does Thunder Rosa. Because like what reminded me of it when Sammy was getting really emotional, Thunder Rosa was like hugging him and doing the thing where she was like rubbing his arm, going, "I've never seen Sammy like this before."
Aw, that's
Yeah, she was momming him pretty hard.
nice. Yeah, her title reign is just another case of a face champion's title reign being a complete disaster.
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately.
not her fault. They just don't. I mean, we've said this to death, so I don't want to harp on it too much, but they just don't book babyface champions very well.
Yeah. I do not want her losing the title to Tony Storm, and I'm afraid that's where they're going.
I don't either, but now that Chris is injured, that's probably plan B. Like,
Yeah. Which honestly, like, they don't need to take the title off of her yet. They just need to do better things with her. Like, ugh.
there's so many other people that I would rather see that belt on if she's going to lose it. Like, I
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Tony Storm. I'm just not. Like, I can't get into her. I tried to like really just like, okay, let me like try. And I can't. There's nothing about her that makes me want to care. And
It's
I
also it's not the story I want to hear either.
know, like, I'd rather see like Jamie Hayter get it and then it
Yes.
cause tension between Britt and Jamie. Um, Penelope's back. She's been there since day one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
put her in instead of on Dark, put her in the title picture. I I don't even know where the hell the bunny is. Is she still hurt? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
She might be on her way back now, but yeah, she was injured.
You can even like have Ty Conti start going for that as a heel now and bring a belt into the Jericho Appreciation Society because I don't think there's one belt in there right now.
No.
And be the only one that's a champion in there. Like,
Yeah. I am kind of disappointed that they have not pushed Jamie Hayter more because she has so much talent. Um, and she's entertaining too. Like, um, sometimes wrestlers can be terrible actors. She is passable. Like her stuff doesn't seem, she doesn't use that like acting voice, that, let's say, Anna J has
Really?
started employing.
Oh, I went with Natty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her as well. Um, so yeah. Uh
Anna J is a colossal disappointment right now. I'm trying to keep an open mind and, you know, let it play out and see how it goes, but I'm not really enjoying the Jericho Appreciation Society version of Anna. I wish we got to see her shine more as Dark Order Anna. Like, but I'm trying to keep an open mind. It's new. It's only a
mhm.
couple weeks. Hopefully she stops just screaming at the top of her lungs and like about choking people out. Hopefully that stops. And I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a little bit more until I shit on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh she's not. I just don't want them to like Julie or Julia Hart her basically, or whoever that woman's name is.
Julia.
Yeah, I can never remember if it's Julie or Julia, and that's not good because I've been watching this for like well over a year now, and I'm just like, I can't even bother to fully learn your first name.
I'm thinking that they're using her in a way that's getting lot well no CJ getting CJ into I after last night with that only one woman like can
Mm-hmm.
touch me or whatever. And if he's going to be feuding with the House of Black, and if Julia is going to like get involved like she is, Hero needs a girl on his side too, and who better than his beautiful wife?
Yeah. Although I guess like Lana has said, well, CJ has said, like she doesn't want to wrestle anymore.
Not to wrestle.
That's that's true.
She was
But
great just being like on the mic and being a talking piece for like when had that Russian gimmick going, she
mhm.
was phenomenal. And
Yeah.
then when they threw her with Ziggler, that's when it kind of started to fall apart a little bit. When she lost her accent and started wearing all denim like she was Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake circa 99.
Yeah.
And then with the Lashley shit, oh my God, that was like painful. That was painful.
Mhm.
Absolutely painful to watch. Like all of them deserve better than that angle. All three of them deserved so much better than that. And then she was gone. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing her back like as his manager or doesn't have to wrestle if she doesn't want to, but I'd love to see those two together. Their chemistry has been phenomenal.
Their chemistry is phenomenal. I think the problem is Lana is so strong in that role. She needs someone, if she's going to be playing off of someone, they need to be able to hold their own. And Julie, what I still can't,
Julia.
is not going to be able to do that. It will be such a terrible discrepancy. It'll be painful to watch.
I'd like to hope that it brings out a better like that it brings out the best in Julia. Like, you know, sometimes if you're working with someone that you know is like really good and you want to try to like get better to keep up with them, I'd like to think that maybe that because okay,
Lana's
not
a professional actress at this point. Like,
Lana's a good
that's
example though. Also, she was not good in the ring, and look how far she came towards
it took
the
her
end.
years of you know her story, right? About where her and Miro didn't live in the same house for a while because she moved down to Florida and was every day in the ring training.
Wow.
Like she committed and she did that for like 9 months to a year. So like she made that happen for herself. Because while she did not want to wrestle, when they were like, "You're doing this," she was like, "Well, then I'm not going to make a fool out of myself." Um, and yeah, so while I mean, if anyone wants to commit themselves the way that Lana CJ did to learning how to wrestle, to learning how to act, it's possible. I don't see most people doing that.
I feel like we also haven't. seen enough of Julia besides just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Like
don't really.
weirdly, like they will just have her. They just did that in a match. They had her. She was just like awkwardly standing on the side of the ring, like on the hardest part of the ring. That's where she was standing. And I was like, do something with this poor woman. Like, give her direction.
I think they're going to, because I was watching an interview thing with Malachi Black,
Mm-hmm.
and it was with that Denise Salcedo, and they were talking about Julia, and he was saying that he didn't want to give too much away, but there is going to be more, and that she's going to be involved. So I think it's just been the slowest build in the history of this company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't really heard her much on the mic. We don't, I mean, she could be fantastic and we don't know yet. Like,
It's like they keep forgetting about her. That's
yeah,
that's what it's like. Like they keep forgetting to like book her in.
you know what I think really hurt them is when um Buddy Matthews got hurt, and it seemed like whatever kind of angle they were doing with the whole stable
Oh
put
yeah.
got put on pause for a little bit. He's back now, and I think that's why all of them were out last night.
Mm-hmm.
So I think whatever pause that they had on whatever they were doing, specifically with like it was Death Triangle. Yeah, that's who
Yeah.
they're. I think whatever that was going on there might start picking back up again now that everyone's back and healthy, and
Well, with the
hopefully knock
trios
on.
championship too, and
Yep, yep.
um yeah, Malachi Black, his career was actually he thought it was over a few months ago from an injury. He didn't think he, which would have been I am a huge Malachi Alistair Black fan. I love everything that he does. Um we hadn't seen someone move like him before in the ring. Um and he was actually the reason I started watching NXT because a friend of mine had said to me, "Hey, I think we had just got done watching whatever pay-per-view, WrestleMania, something." And my friend Andrew was just like, you have to watch this takeover." And I was like, I really don't want to. And he's like, just watch this one match. You'll love this guy. And sure enough, I don't even remember who he was facing because I was like so transfixed on how he was moving. I have just a wee bit of a background in kickboxing, and I like immediately honed in on everything he was doing and absolutely love it. And I love like the creepy weird shit that he does. Um I like his old music and WWE better, but that's
So did I.
yeah.
I
And he as a person is a cat dad, and I'm all about that.
if I had to guess, I'd say he probably was facing Andrade, because that was like I think was his main rival in that period of NXT, which is funny because Zelina was with Andrade.
Yeah, man.
Oh, so you got into NXT late then?
Mm-hmm.
So
See a trend.
I was already fading out of NXT at that point. I didn't watch that era as much as I watched when like Owens and Sammy and
Mm-hmm.
the Four Horsewomen and all of them were. Yeah, it was after like they started moving up. I stopped watching. I think like I'd say like the Nakamura, Balor, Samoa Joe, like that little class before they all came up was like last when I really and like Asuka and all that. And then I you're gonna hate me for this, but Shayna Baszler made me really lose interest in the women's division. I was sick of seeing poor Bianca always be the bridesmaid and never the bride. And I was like so for Bianca Belair. And I hated every time I watched her lose. Yeah, I know, I know. You look like you're frozen. You're so mad at me. I was about to like be like,
Rage.
did my computer oh my God, where'd you go?
Oh wait, did you really just
Oh God, I didn't mean to accidentally hit something and I think I lost you.
Oh, well, I can still see you.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
What did I do? Okay, there you are.
It was
I
also this week, Shayna Baszler's birthday, or as it is known, the greatest day in history. And it was great since I follow her on my phone was just blowing up with like all these notifications about people wishing Shayna Baszler a happy birthday. She's up, down champion. She has this title match. I'm like, yes, everything is coming up Shayna Baszler. I'm so happy. I also love Bianca Belair. She was another one that when I saw her in NXT, I was just like, she is going to be a mega star. I was surprised it took them so long to call her up and then so long to do something with her.
I am shocked that she never held that belt in NXT
Mhm.
because most she should have. I mean, Shayna had it way too long. Bianca should have had a run with it, but that like honestly, that started to bore me. I'm like, it's the same thing. It she just comes out, she immediately wins. It's over. It was like a Cena thing, like LOL Cena wins. I used to go LOL Shayna wins,
I'm
and
also a Cena fan, so it makes sense, doesn't it?
ugh, I I was not. I don't mind him now because he's not yelling at me every week. So when he does come back and like for a little bit, I'm like, oh, this is a nice little treat. But when he used to like scream into my TV every week, I started getting sick of that. I'm like,
Mm.
this man is yelling at me. Um, but I don't have anything against Shayna now, and I think it's because she's not like the OP, like overpowered boss in a video game that like you need to level up to like level 199 just to even have a chance. Like I couldn't. Nobody's that powerful. Like they can't. I couldn't stand it, and that's really when I stopped. I was like, I can't watch NXT anymore. All my favorites are in the main roster anyway. Like I'm sorry. I know you love
I've
her.
never been more upset with you.
I'm sorry. I've never admitted it to you, but you love her so much, and I'm always sitting here thinking she's the reason I stopped really watching NXT. Like,
Oh. I so the nice thing about WWE is so when I did get interested in watching NXT, they had that whole nice catalog that was super easy, super accessible. I don't know how easy it would be to navigate now, honestly, because I hate dealing with Peacock, but that's what there's 3 years left on that deal.
God, I can't. I wish they'd go back to the network. I don't know how long is left on it, but however long is too long.
Too long. Yeah.
It's so slow. It always freezes. It's like
It's a
you can't,
horrible interface. It is a
yeah, you
horrible interface.
can't find shit on it. Like it used
No.
to be so easy to go in there and just like look up things by like WCW or like NXT, classic WWE.
A
Like
wrestler, you could put in a wrestler's name and it would pull up a bunch of stuff. Would it miss a lot of things that they did? Absolutely. But like more stuff would show up obviously as they went along and coded each of the all of the content. But yeah. Yeah.
Cox a fucking shit show. Oh my God, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it.
Not
I
a
just
fan.
yeah, they need to get the network back for because it's in other countries, right? It's just not in the US.
Correct.
Yeah, they're not going to because like
I've considered
BC,
getting a VPN just so I can
I
say
thought of
I'm
that
in. Mm-hmm.
they're
I
gonna
will.
go back because
Yeah.
NBC is gonna throw a fucking truckload of money at them again, and they're gonna make another deal. Or I don't know, maybe they'll go to something different, like Disney Plus if they get something with Fox. Like
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I you know what? I would be fine even if they went to Disney Plus. Why? Because Disney Plus has a better interface.
yeah,
Ugh.
I don't use it often, but the couple times I was, 'cause I don't really watch much on there. I think the only things I have ever watched on Disney Plus when I first got it, the first thing I did was pull up Beauty and the Beast and watch that because it's my favorite.
Mhm.
And then I watched Heavyweights because I used to love that movie as a
Oh
kid.
yeah, same. If you're I mean, if you're into Christmas movies, around the holidays, Disney Plus, that's where it's at. They have a lot of the good holiday movies.
Yeah, they'd have like the Santa Claus and
I think the Home Alone movies are on there. Like there's
probably,
the Muppet stuff, the Muppet Christmas Carol is on
oh,
there.
I still quote that like this is my island in the sun. Wait, like when the it's like when the little like rats are complaining that it's too cold in
Mhm.
there. and he yells at them, and then they're like, "Heat wave!" And they're like, my brothers and I still do that.
I still cry whenever I watch that movie.
The Muppets one?
Yeah,
Oh God,
Tiny, the Tiny Tim. Yeah, every time, every time.
the Mr. Magoo one gets me. That's the one that I usually cry at.
That's not usually something you hear. The Mr. Magoo one gets me. I don't know why I gave you a weird accent there, but I did.
I don't either, but I'll take it.
I'm Mr. Magoo.
No, he sings that all sad song about being like all alone in the world. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's why he's so miserable. He had no friends.
that would make me very miserable as well.
I think that would make anyone an asshole if they
Yeah,
went through their life entirely alone.
yeah, true. True, true, true. What the hell were we talking about before we went down the rabbit hole of, oh,
I,
yes, yeah, NXT, Shayna Baszler,
I
Aleister Black, Malachi Black. We're back. All right.
completely distracted you from my Shayna thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What
The
were we
Muppets
talking
will
about?
do that.
I have no idea what we were talking about. Let's move on to another subject.
Don't worry. I'll never forget. Now that you have revealed your true self.
I don't hate her now, and I am happy that they're using her better than
Mhm.
like background noise. I guess like that's all she
She's so
was.
funny. Like her as a real person, she's just hilarious. Like I love that if you look up on YouTube, you can find just Shayna jump scaring the other members of the BRE. Specifically, Dakota Kai reacts the best. Like she would put on a full Darth Vader helmet and creep into her room and like jump at her while she was streaming, and she would just scream.
So mean.
Yeah, but like she decided to date her after it or during it. I don't know which, but so apparently that is Dakota Kai's love language.
Nice.
But yeah, absolutely. She's a fat. Do you know that? So I know way too much about Shayna Baszler. Like she went to college on a music scholarship. And what did she go to college for? Her degree is in like she studied cults and how to help people when they were leaving cults. Like, and then she went into MMA because her dad and her uncle were wrestling coaches. So she grew up wrestling, which is why she's so big into catch wrestling. And she also took and helped a roller derby team. She was their coach. And yeah, she's just a fascinating individual.
Very interesting life.
Yeah. Yeah. Just lots of different interests that run everywhere. She's also really into like Warhammer, which is that thing where you paint the miniatures.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, interesting. You like beating people's faces in, and then I assume painting your miniatures with their blood. Like she could really tie that in a really strange way if she wanted to, like I just did.
I just had a thought about her. She might win. She might win because they might want to go for Shayna versus Ronda because there's history there.
I mean, I am all for Shayna versus Ronda. Um, I don't think they necessarily need the title for that. I do. So of course, I do want Shayna Baszler to have the title. Um, but I don't want anyone who currently has the championship to lose it either. So, and I do think that the women's division needs more storylines that don't focus around the title. But yeah, I would love Ronda versus Shayna, especially like since they have all of that friendship. Um,
There were the other horsewomen. It was those two and who the hell are the other
Marina,
two?
Marina
Yeah.
and Jessamine Duke. And I mean, Jessamine, I could see her doing some appearances for that because she still has a good relationship with the company. Um, and she's another one who's just a doll. But yeah. Um, I think that would be great. Obviously, Marina won't be rocking up, which is fine. But yeah. So Ronda Rousey, before meeting Shayna, because Shayna was doing MMA long before Rhonda was. Rhonda was actually a fan of Shayna Baszler's, which is funny. And Shayna's the one that got Rhonda into wrestling. She's the one that got all the four horsewomen in general into wrestling. So Shayna Baszler's the reason we have that. No matter how you feel about it one way or the other.
Another reason for me to love her. She brought Ronda Rousey into wrestling. Thanks, Shayna.
Well, you know, it brought more eyes on the product.
Though, did it.
Yeah, it did.
Becky was already like to the moon at that point. I think she was doing a good job bringing enough eyes in on her own. She was crossing over to mainstream hardcore.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I will say I prefer Ronda Rousey to Logan Paul as a human, but that's not saying much.
They're both shit people. Like, I don't prefer either of them.
That is a lesser of two evils situation right there. Ronda Rousey at least has done stuff that has positively impacted women in MMA, for example.
But the
Logan
racism doesn't cancel that. Like, that
No,
doesn't cancel that.
I'm not saying it canceled it out. I'm saying at least there was some sort of positive impact. Whereas Logan Paul is Logan Paul. And the only positive thing he has going for him is he's not as big of a piece of garbage as his younger brother. He at least can hold it together slightly better. And that's not saying much.
No, I mean, this is the dude that filmed the dead body for likes on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a person that clearly had mental health issues because they committed suicide and used that body of someone that committed suicide for YouTube likes. Like,
And that was clearly his plan to go there. Like he went to the suicide forest. Like that was
oh
the only
yeah,
reason he went.
he didn't think anything was wrong with it. He was thinking this is going to make a great video. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not only that, but like his main fan base were like 11 to 13-year-old girls. So he's also like was also predatory on top of it. I, they're both pieces of shit. Like
Yeah.
they're both of the brothers are both pieces of shit for the same reasons. Like,
Yeah.
and now people are fucking fawning over him because he's decent in the ring. They went from booing him to
Well, they're like,
I
well,
don't
Vince is gone, so we have to have some sort of piece of shit to latch on to and worship. And Logan Paul is that garbage human. So, oh, my eye just started twitching.
and he's gonna be around. Like he's not going anywhere. He has signed with them. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's upsetting. Triple H didn't know who the hell he was. If Triple H had been in charge at that point, we probably wouldn't have Logan Paul in the WWE.
did no one Google him? Like, did no one think to look him up? I ugh.
Yeah,
I
I'm sure they did. And they said, oh, he has that many followers. Sure. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And I guess like he has heat backstage too because he's not like shaking people's hands, which he claims to be such a big fan of wrestling, right? And it's like, dude, everyone knows that. Like you introduce yourself as the new guy or a new gal and you shake hands with the people who have come before you. It not only that, it's just polite to do like in your new job in general. But
Even if you're not comfortable, like physically shaking hands because of COVID, monkeypox, all that stuff, you can still do the shoulder, like
mhm.
the elbow thing, or people do that aren't
A
comfortable shaking hands,
bow, like figure
or just
something
like
out.
hey, how are you? Like you can even nod the head a little
Yeah.
bit. Like
So
I don't think anyone at this point, well, I don't want to say anyone. I don't think most people in 2022 are going to be overly offended if you say like I'm not really comfortable shaking hands, but it's nice to meet you.
mhm.
You can at least do that. Like,
Yeah. Although honestly, like as a wrestler, you're gonna be rubbing your body against these people. I mean, not all well, Yeah, I would imagine not all at once. So, but yeah.
True. But like the hands have like so much like bacteria and it like that's the worst thing to do is to like shake a hand as opposed to like a hug or anything like because you're touching shit all day.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah. You know what? That's what he should have just walked up to Undertaker, who's not back there anymore, but we're gonna go with Undertaker and just like chest bumped him and been like, so
There's
I'm
always the
LP.
Howie Mandel. Like there's
Yeah, that is very true. Also, I'm going to continue to say this. Logan Paul looks like shit for his age, and it's because evil doesn't always age well. And yeah, yeah. Like definitely thought he was my age, if not a little bit older, and he is like 26. That's the other thing. His brain is fully developed. He is very much so like making these decisions.
ugh. Yeah,
But
I saw a funny thing on Facebook. I saw okay, so I saw the original meme and then Will Wheaton taking it and running with it. Did you see
mhm.
that?
Oh yeah.
Where like he didn't realize he was 2 years older than Alex Jones. And that
Yeah.
he what do you say? Like he's disgusted seeing his picture side by side with them, but if it raises any good in the world, like yeah, I guess evil doesn't age well. I didn't think that I thought Alex Jones was in his what, like his 50s probably.
Yeah. I immediately was like, oh my God, how old is Will Wheaton then? Is he
Yeah,
pushing 60 and I didn't know?
right. How old is he? Like
I don't know.
he's got to only be in his 40s, right?
Yeah. There's no way he's
He was
pushing
a kid.
60. Yeah, there's no way he's pushing 60.
Whoa, shut up. He just turned 50.
Oh shit. All right. Hmm. He does look good for his age.
Yeah, July 29th, 1972. He literally just turned 50 years old.
You can say what you want about being nerdy, but all that time spent in basements is good for the skin.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. So yes, evil does not age well.
Yeah.
But back to wrestling. Uh unrelated to literally anything we've been talking about, although still kind of in the AEW realm. Actually, I will say definitely in the AEW realm because of who it focuses around. Um so in my trolling of the internets, as I do, looking for wrestling content, I came across so on Colt Cabana's YouTube page, he did a series called like the Wrestling Road Diaries, and it's from years ago. The first one is when he's leaving, when he had just been released from WWE and Daniel Bryan was just being called up to WWE. So it's right in that sweet spot where they're both in Ring of Honor together and doing the indies. And it's really cool because like Daniel Bryan's talking about how like he realizes that, you know, he probably won't be able to do like these wrestling clinics for a while. And I was like, a while, honey, you're never doing them again. Like I don't know if Daniel Bryan thought he'd be getting like kicked out of which I mean he did for a hot second there, but or what. But you can see probably like I think it's an hour of however long that documentary is like chopped down. And several things happen in that. One, I was correct. Colt Cabana is allergic to cats. That is what's wrong with that man. Found it.
That's why he's single.
Why single? He's allergic to cats. No, it's very much so. I think he said in there as well that or somewhere that like his choice of lifestyle being like indie wrestling specifically has cost him relationships in the past. So we were very much so both right on that one.
Yeah,
Which yeah, which yours was a logical conclusion to come to. Mine was I don't see any cats anywhere. What kind of person doesn't have cats?
I mean, I would argue that that is also a logical conclusion.
Mhm.
So,
Yes, yes. He has a dog, so he should also have a cat. That's if you have a dog, you should have a cat. I don't know. But if you have a cat, you don't necessarily have to have a dog. Why? You also, so wrestlers, it would make more sense for them to have cats because they're more self-sufficient. You give them some food, water, and a litter box, and if you're gone overnight, no big deal. A dog, you're gonna come back to your house destroyed. Not saying that a cat won't light your house on fire and let itself out, but
Or they puke on the carpet in protest because you're on vacation. That can
yeah,
happen too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
not like they were left alone the whole time either. We did have a brother-in-law coming to check on them every day, but there's still that vomit on the carpet that we came home to.
hmm Jasper used to, when I would come home, if I did not immediately give him the required amount of attention that he needed, he would go and he would piss on my suitcase. You want to leave me? Fine. You're never leaving again.
So mine, Lily, the little one, runs and hides when we come home. She'll show her face and then it's like, I'm gonna leave you now for a while, see how you like it. And the big one, Creature, will come, he'll stand there and he'll just stare at us. And then the screaming starts. Like it's like a couple like 30 seconds of like, is it really you? Are you really home? And then starts yelling at us, and like I can almost hear the like, where the fuck have you been? Like coming out of his little cat mouth. Just, oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, he gets mad. They're still up our asses. Like we've only been home a week now and they're still like,
Mm-hmm. If I am always around you, you cannot leave me again.
that's basically what they like. Lily like is just everywhere I go, winding her way around my feet. And I actually almost stepped on her twice today, just
Yeah.
today. Like,
Yes, this is a great plug for cat ownership.
yeah, right. They
If
are
you want to
very
be
clever.
loved to death, get a cat.
Yeah, seriously. They'll sit on your face so you can't breathe. They'll walk under your legs. Like,
Cut your brakes, you know.
your car can't stop. You can't leave. Like,
Oh no, Cheddar! Dang it! My dog knocked down my light. He was just like, "Hey, stop bad mouthing cats. Dogs act up too." So actually, Cheddar yesterday ate a pair of $200 headphones, so or like a gaming headset. Yeah. So yeah,
fun.
yeah, that's what you did. Uh-huh. Yeah. Hi. So yes. But the other thing, say hello, Cheddar. Yes.
Aw,
I love you too.
buddy.
Yes, you're not in trouble. Yes. Calm down. He's having his birthday party on Sunday because he's a
Aw,
whole 1 year old. Yeah.
he's old man.
Oh yes. Yes. His brother gets to have his sweet 16 in September. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. Two very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so also Trent from the Best Friends One Dog looks like Cheddar. Not quite as adorable as my Cheddar, but you know, or the dog's trying. But at any rate, before I continue shitting on someone's dog,
We all think that our pets are cuter than everyone else's.
it's true. It's true. Um, the other thing that I wanted to talk about in the Wrestling Road Diaries, I have to send it to you because it's ridiculous. Um, because there's three of them. I might actually just pony up and buy them, in which case I'll share them with you so we both don't have to. But I mean, no, gonna totally not do that. Anyway. But the other thing was, so it was Colt Cabana, Daniel Bryan, and this other guy who I'm so sorry, I don't remember his name. He did not make it to the main roster of WWE or currently in AEW, and that's the only places I would have seen someone. But anyway, these three were traveling around. They said they traveled together because they weren't big drinkers. They didn't like sleep around with a bunch of folks, and so they traveled together. And So they're independent wrestlers working for Ring of Honor, which is an important part of this, which I have to keep reminding myself. But it's one of those things where I was watching it, and while I had heard stories of like Mick Foley just sleeping on fans' couches and things like that, never did I think in the year, I think it was in 2009, did I think that Colt Cabana, Daniel Bryan, and this other guy, would just have a fan approach them and be like, you can stay at my house. I have this big empty house. You can stay there. And they did it. They went to, and like, I only saw, again, it's only clips of it, but they show up the guy's house and he's like, you can use the laundry. And they're like all excited. And then it just cuts to this thing where they're getting into the hot tub with this guy. And at least one of them looks uncomfortable with this. And I'm like, women would not do this. Women would not be in this weird situation with this man.
No, no. I mean, if it was another woman that was maybe like
Maybe. Yeah.
that feels safer, but still no.
Yeah.
Um,
And like, yeah, there were three of them, but they didn't know that maybe when they got back to this guy's house, there would be a bunch more dudes. Like, maybe he has a torture dungeon. Like, who knows? Clearly, he had some sort of fantasy about being in a hot tub with Colt Cabana, Daniel Bryan, and I'm sorry, third man. He seemed very nice in the documentary. But yeah. I was, as someone who has consumed a lot of true crime content, I was just yelling. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I understand you're broke, but come on. This is how you die.
yeah, that is super trusting. Like super, super trusting.
And like, yeah, Brian Danielson grew up in like uh, the actually no, where he's from, that area of the country, there's a lot of serial killers, so he should have known better. But he was like in a far off middle of nowhere type ish place. Cole Cabana's from Chicago. Maybe he was just like, yeah, I've seen rougher things. Chicago. Meh.
I like how you go into like an old timey like Chicago gangster, like meh. Like,
Meh. Yeah.
I mean that could have been his like rationale, like I've survived Chicago, I'm sure this will be fine. And then you have Brian that is just
Doom, doom, doom. That's what I
peace,
imagine
love,
instead.
and veganism, like happy, save all the animals, plant, make my own garden, everyone's friendly. Like,
Like, I know that especially like people's reports of Brian Danielson do not match up with this, but in my head, he is Snow White. Like, he is the Snow White of wrestling, just like talking to the woodland creatures, helping the dwarves. And yeah, just walking into this man's home, crawling into his hot tub. I have like,
possibly.
you have to watch it just for that portion of it. Like, I'm just
How
like
old, how old were they though? Like when you're young, dumb,
2009.
and 2009.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
how
Colt
was I?
Cabana is like, they're both in their 40s now, I think. I think like,
I think Brian is 40.
yeah, Cabana was born in 80.
Okay,
So
so he was 29,
yeah,
right?
yes, he should have known. Like, he should have known.
Yeah,
Also, like,
no. I mean, you're young, dumb, and broke. Like, we're all still stupid in our 20s and do dumb things. And Lord knows I have. I mean, I crashed on a person's floor for like 3 weeks because I got kicked out of my house. Like, it
as
it
what, a
sucks.
teen?
No, I was 20, 20,
Oh, okay.
19 or 20. So I was legally an adult. Like,
Yeah.
not not up here, but on paper. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just like, oh, well, I wonder if the camera crew is what saved them.
also, like that you probably would feel safer too. This is all being recorded and documented.
Mhm.
So you're in your 20s, you're poor, you're already making dumb decisions, and you feel like you have the security blanket of everything being recorded.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's still not smart, but they obviously survived, so good for them.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like listening to what is it called? Wrestling Anonymous, which is the podcast that you can call in and just tell your wrestling related stories. Um like there's been a couple where someone's like, "Oh yeah, we were at the show and we just approached this wrestler like, "Hey, do you want to get high?" And the wrestler's like, "Sure, do." And then they smoke up with whomever. And that's what I'm talking about with the getting high. It's not like, well, let's go shoot heroin into our eyeballs. I mean, maybe that is happening, but not in these stories. It's all about them getting like smoking the marijuanas.
Yeah, I'd be that fan. That would be like, you want some of this? Like,
Yeah, and apparently it's very, very prevalent. So there you go. If you want to make friends, that's all you got to do.
a little boy, you want a gummy? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Although, again, will not work with Colt Cabana because he does not take part in the quote marijuana culture.
shame. It's a wonderful thing. Like, I've heard.
Allegedly. Megan
Well,
has
no,
heard.
no, it's legal in Jersey. It was a wonderful thing last week in the state that it's legal and recreationally. Not that I'd ever do it in Pennsylvania where it's not.
Well, you do have anxiety.
Yeah, I know. I have to figure out how to get my medical card. I mentioned it to my doctor, but he's not one of the doctors that like can prescribe it. I guess there's certain like you have to have some kind of thing to be able to prescribe it. So I have to try to find some doctor that can.
I know several people who I can ask some friends who have their cards who they went to.
My dad does. He did it
Oh.
online. He found like a doctor online that prescribed it for him. I was like,
I'm pretty sure that's what people used to do for like glaucoma anyway.
yeah, but the card is expensive. That's like the one
You
thing
have
that
to
kind of,
renew it and stuff, right?
yeah, like the card itself, just the card is like $100. And then
Hey,
the,
every card you get, it's filling in a pothole. My ankles thank you
yeah,
for
I
your
doubt it.
service. All right.
Every card we get, it's lining someone else's pockets. It ain't going towards the roads. Like,
It is if we grind up their bones and put them in the bottle.
that
They
might be
fall
the
into
only
one
way.
they
Might
fall
be
into
the
one
only
more
way to go.
pothole. That's what I'm doing. It's not our podcast unless I threaten lies.
Yeah, it's just three in a row now. You're on a roll.
Hmm. That's why I'm warning Colt Cabana and Brian Danielson about serial killers. I am one. I'm kidding. I am kidding. I am kidding.
We always know when the podcast is about at the end because that's when Sabrina starts threatening lives.
Yeah. I am, you know, I don't do well with bodily fluids like blood or vomit or snot. So like murder's really not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, same. I'm glad that that's the only reasons that murder is not in your wheelhouse because blood and snot and vomit make you sick. Not because killing someone's wrong, but because, I can't deal with all that blood.
Gotta dispose of a body then. That's not really my thing. Hey, they also could have pets at home. And, there's enough pets that need homes. I don't need to be taking away humans from their pets.
Sabrina, who won't eat animals or animal products because it's not right, only has a problem with killing humans because the blood makes her sick.
And the animals who will be left uncared for. Don't forget them.
Oh my goodness.
They have it hard enough.
True.
Imagine how shitty their human would have to be for me to murder said human. I might be doing them a favor. So that's the thing. You just have to. Never mind.
Every week, Sabrina, you are just digging deeper.
Can't wait until
Disclaimer
this. Yeah, can't wait until these recordings are used to.
in a court of law,
Yeah.
and I'm subpoenaed.
She was joking, I swear. Are you under duress?
Blink twice.
The only time I was scared for my life was when I told her I didn't like Shayna Baszler in NXT.
Dude, that look you gave me. First of all, you didn't move and your eyes didn't. I swear to God, I thought the computer froze. I'm like, is she okay? Like,
It was the look of my heart breaking, Megan.
sorry. I am sorry. I don't mind her now. Like, I just didn't
That's
like her back then.
that's why my face has returned to its normal state.
The laser stopped shooting out of your eyes.
Yes, yes. Um, but talking about wrestlers that we love, dun, 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 Kenny Omega.
My husbando.
Yes, yes. The supreme hope that he shows up for the trios championship. I'm just excited to see like all the matches. Yeah, I think all the matches in general.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, I really do want Death Triangle to like make it far. I don't think that they're going to actually I would love for them to win. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would love for it to happen at some point. Because as I said to you, I think it was last night, the Lucha Brothers are probably, in my opinion, are the most beautiful wrestlers going and far as like how they move in that ring. Like it is gorgeous what they do. I don't know how else to describe it other than like beautiful, gorgeous, awe-inspiring.
Yeah, they are they're on another level. I'm just looking up the bracket because I want to see like what matchups we might end up seeing.
Hmm.
Uh
Yeah. I think they
so
kind of held this off for as long as they could because they probably wanted Omega back as well as having undisputed elite available.
they're not shown in the
They're
brackets.
not they're not in it. They're not cleared.
Okay, yeah. Um yeah, I think it was Tony at some point was saying that he wasn't going to even introduce these belts like until Kenny was going to be back.
Hmm.
So that makes me think that he is the question mark. And I just want to see where Dark Order are on the other side of the bracket. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um
God, it's gonna come down to Dark Order and the Young Bucks and Kenny. That's what's gonna happen because Hangman is on.
in the corner. Yeah.
Oh my God, what if Hangman turns on the Dark Order?
Hmm. There's so many things.
Yeah, so Dark Order is gonna beat the House of Black then for this to happen. Because what the bracket is it's Death Triangle and Osprey's team, and then it's Andrade's team versus the Young Bucks and probably Kenny. And then on the other one, it's House of Black and Dark Order. And then that new team, Truth Busters and the Best Friends. So it's probably going to come down to Death Triangle. With
Who's Truth
what
Busters?
they were just on last night. Um, that's the first time I remember seeing them, unless they
Oh,
were on
okay.
last Wednesday or like Saturday because I didn't
That's
watch.
okay. That's why I'm not.
It was like an NXT dude or like two NXT dudes and somebody else.
When you
So
said
that's
Truth Busters, I was thinking like our truth and someone. I'm like, that's not right. Eh,
we're gonna end up probably seeing Death Triangle versus the Bucks and Kenny. Either that or I mean Osprey versus the Bucks and Kenny would be a banger match too. Like his
mm,
team.
yeah, and I mean, I've again still going back and watching the old AEW pay-per-views. I think I'm in 2020 now, so I don't have many more to go before I'm caught up. But man, um just absolutely there was the match that had the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. And I was just sitting there the whole time, like jaw dropped, just going like, "Whoa!"
So are you in pandemic era part? Like so you did see Hangman and Kenny versus the Young Bucks then?
Yes, yeah.
That's my favorite match of AEW, period.
It
I
was
love
it was weird for me because knowing them as two singles wrestlers, see like going and now two who have been champions, um, going back to seeing them as like a tag team was a little weird because you typically don't see that with the exception of like when Triple H and Stone Cold were champions or, you know, the Brothers of Destruction. But
their show, like weren't they like Jericho and Big
oh
Show?
yeah, 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 Jericho. That was fun. Anytime Big Show was put with someone, it was usually fun.
Mhm.
I always enjoyed that. He was a good tag partner for people to have. Always entertaining. I
I'm
hope Big
almost
Show's doing well.
yeah, we haven't seen him on AEW in a while.
No.
I'm almost positive that the show, if I'm remembering correctly, the Dynamite that I was at was the first time that Kenny and Hangman tagged together. Because there was I think it was the main event, and it was when Kenny was feuding Kenny was feuding with Mox very early on. Jericho was still a champ, but like Kenny and Mox had because yeah, Mox showed up at that pay-per-view before Dynamite started in the summer, and they had that little feud that was going on. And then the Dynamite that we were at, it was Kenny and Hangman versus Pac and Mox. And it was so early on that Mox was not coming through the crowd as his
Oh.
entrant. I have pictures of him like coming out from like backstage. He was at the top of the ramp. And I looked at them not too long ago and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot he didn't always come out of the crowd. Like
Mm-hmm.
he came out like normal, like a normal wrestler in the beginning. But I think that might be the first time that they tagged together. And then they just started getting thrown together like more after like that initial feud with Kenny and Mox was done.
Mm-hmm.
And because they were doing the tag tournament, I believe, at that point. Because that's when we saw Christopher Daniels get taken out by the Lucha Bros, which put Scorpio Sky and like um with Kazarian. It yeah, we watched like the beginning of a lot of angles, like the start of a lot of stuff at that Dynamite. It
Yeah,
was
it
fun.
sounds it.
They're gonna be in Philly
Mm-hmm.
next